So you were told you needed a CPAP. Maybe it was delivered to your home. Maybe you picked it up from a provider, and someone is going to walk you through the setup of this machine. That person, whoever they are, they would know how the machine runs. They would show you how to fill the humidifier. They will show you how to put the mask on, and they will show you how to turn on and turn off this machine. But what they can't tell you is what the machine is actually doing inside your body while you sleep and why it feels the way it does. What to expect the first week and what to do when things are not going the way you thought they should go. Because let's be honest, that's not their job. They're equipment specialists, not sleep professionals. Nobody gave you the full picture. And that is exactly why I created this video. My name is Carlos. I've spent over 15 years working inside sleep medicine, working in sleep labs, performing studies, and working with CPAP patients. I've been on the clinical side of this machine for a long time. I understand what it does, and I have explained it to hundreds of patients. And then, a couple of years ago, I became a CPAP patient. I use the machine. And that combination, that clinical knowledge, and the personal experience is what I'm bringing to you today. I am not just someone who studied this, I am someone who uses this machine every single night. When you have sleep apnea, your airway collapses while you sleep, not partially, but fully. The soft tissue in the back of your throat relaxes, the tongue falls back, and the airway closes. Your brain senses you're not getting enough oxygen and it pulls you out of deep sleep just barely, just enough to engage your throat muscles and reopen the airway. You take a breath, you drop back down, and that cycle starts all over again. This can happen 5 times an hour, 30 times an hour, 50 times, even more. And most of the time, you have no memory of it happening. Every one of those micro arousals pulls you out of deep sleep. And over months and years, the damage accumulates. Chronic exhaustion, brain fog, hormonal disruption, mood instability, high blood pressure, and serious cardiovascular risks. It is slow, it is silent, and most of the people have no idea it's happening. What CPAP does is it stops that entire cycle. It delivers a constant, gentle stream of pressurized air through a mask, and the air acts like a pneumatic splint and it holds your airway open all night long. Your brain never has to sound the alarm, and you stay in deep sleep. Your body actually recovers. Now, CPAP does not help you sleep. It removes the obstruction that's preventing you from sleeping properly in the first place. Now, I want to give you a word of caution. Pressure settings and therapeutic decisions must be managed by your prescribing physician or sleep specialist. Everything that I'm sharing with you in this video is educational and it's not a substitute for medical advice. So, I want to go through several things that I want you to know before you even put this machine the first night. Things that make a difference between someone who sticks to the CPAP and someone who puts it back in a box and forgets about it 2 weeks later. The first thing is it feels strange, and that is completely normal. Nobody, but absolutely nobody, puts on a CPAP mask the first time and says, "Oh, this is incredible." Nobody. The mask feels unfamiliar on your face. The pressure feels like more than you can expect. The sound of the machine sometimes it activates things in your brain that it's never heard before 11 o'clock at night. And that moment is when you're starting to drift off. Your brain notices something's new and it doesn't feel right, so you're awake. You might feel claustrophobic. You might rip off this mask at 2 o'clock in the morning and don't even have a recollection of it. And let me tell you something, all of those things are completely normal. They're completely expected. They're documented. And the reason most people do not know it, it's because nobody told them. Now, most CPAP abandonment happens the first 30 days, not because therapy doesn't work. It's because patients were not Prepare to adjust to periods of these typical things. It usually takes 2 to 4 weeks to get adjusted to it. So give yourself 30 days, not 3 nights, 30 days. Another thing, your mask fit is everything. The number one reason CPAP therapy fails is not the machine, it's the mask. If your mask leaks and you're not receiving full therapy, you'll drop it. The pressure drops, the air escapes, the air is not being held openly in the way it should be. And you're wearing something that's uncomfortable on your face. And this is the mistake a lot of people make. And it's the same mistake that I see time and time again. And it's when the mask leaks, they tighten it up. They pull the straps, they clench the headgear, and the mask leaves and the mask still leaks, because a tight mask is not a fitting mask. Those are two completely different things. I want you to know that there are three main types of masks. You have the nasal pillow, which sits directly under the nostril. It's minimal, light, great if you feel claustrophobic. You got nasal masks. They cover the nose fully. It's better for people that have a little higher pressure. And you have the full face, like me. It covers the nose and the mouth, and is essential for mouth breathers. Mouth breathing during sleep is one of the most common and most overlooked CPAP problems. If you wake up with a dry mouth and air feels like it's rushing out and the therapy never feels quite right, there is a strong chance that you are breathing through your mouth while you sleep. And a full face mask or a chin strap often resolves this completely. So ask your provider about a proper mask fitting, because not all masks fit everyone. You should not be fighting your mask every single night. And if you are, you're on the wrong mask. Another thing is the dry mouth every morning, and that's not a side effect. Waking up with a complete dry mouth is another complaint that we have. Cracked lips, you know, dry throat. And most people accept it. The thing is that it does not come with the territory. It doesn't. Dry mouth with a CPAP always points out to three things. You're breathing through your mouth instead of your nose, or the humidifier is not set correctly, or there is a leak in the mask and it's drawing air across your mouth and you have not detected it yet. The humidifier that comes with your CPAP is not an accessory, it's a core component of the therapy. Use it every night. Start at a mid level. Most patients eliminate dryness entirely with a few days once the humidifier is set properly. Dry mouth every morning is not something you live with, it is something you diagnose and you fix. A cautionary word: humidifier settings should be reviewed with your equipment provider. Do not adjust CPAP pressure settings without the guidance of your prescribing physician. Please don't do this. Now, you might feel more tired than you felt before, and this one catches completely off guard a lot of people. And there is one responsible CPAP abandonment that happens because of this. In your first 1 or 2 weeks of therapy, you might feel more tired than before you started. And that feels backwards. That feels like the evidence of the machine is not helping, but it's actually the contrary. The evidence tells us that it is. Your body has been sleeping deprived for months, possibly years. It's adapted, it's learning to function on a broken, fragmented sleep, and it's not expecting anything different. So when the CPAP finally gives you access to real deep sleep, you go into a recovery mode, and it's harder to get out of those deep stages of sleep once you reach them, like stage REM, stage 3. So you feel groggy, you feel overwhelming at first. This is sleep, you know, repayment. And for most patients, this phase resolves by week 3 or 4. So, what comes after? The energy, the clarity, the emotional stability, and the often describing of the life changing. So, feeling worse in week 1 does not mean that the CPAP is failing you. It's that your body is catching up with everything that was lost. Now, consistency matters more than perfection. Your insurance company defines compliance as 4 hours per night using the machine, and that's the minimum required that your coverage needs. And that is not the goal. The goal is that every time you sleep, every night, every nap, with no exceptions, put your CPAP on. Because every hour that you sleep without your CPAP, your airway is still collapsing. Every hour, without exception. Partial compliance gives partial results, period. If the mask feels in fact impossible at first, then try this. Put it on 30 minutes while you're awake, while you're reading, while you're watching TV. Just get adjusted to it. And from there on, build on slowly, night by night. Your CPAP machine logs work perfectly. They'll check the number of events that you have throughout the night. They have apps now. They track what's going on, and the improvement of the therapy becomes better and better as you go. You do not have to be perfect on night one. You have to be as consistent by week four. And your machine is tracking everything, like I said. Most modern CPAP machines record the therapy data every single night, and the most people never even look at it. Your machine knows how many apneas you've had, how long you've had the mask on, whatever the mask leaked or not, and the pressure that you were on throughout the night. The data is your therapy report card, and it tells things that you cannot feel or you cannot remember. So when you go to your doctor, take that data with you, and it completely changes the conversation. I'll give you an example. The machine that I use, ResMed devices connect to an app that's called My Air, and I check my score every morning, and I aim to score above 70 and be with an AHI less than 5. And that gives me exactly the numbers that I need to be looking at. Your machine knows more about your sleep than you do. So pay attention to what it's telling you. Cautionary word: AHI targets and therapy adjustments must be reviewed by your prescription and your prescribing physician. Do not, please do not change the CPAP settings by yourself. So, CPAP is a complete foundation. This is the one that nobody says out loud. CPAP treats your sleep apnea while you're wearing the mask. That's what it does. And that's all it does. It does not fix stress that you carry with you every night. It does not undo caffeine intake after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It does not address weight because you're overeating after hours. And if your lifestyle is working against your sleep, CPAP has to fight every single night just to do its job. The machine is the foundation, but the sleep performance, the real lasting performance, requires everything around you to be in harmony. You cannot CPAP your way out of this. And that's the reason I built Shift. And this is where the CPAP fits into. The understanding that the machine alone was never going to be enough is a big part of why I built the Shift method. SHIFT stands for Sleep, Harmony, Intention, Fuel, and Training. 5 pillars, one integrated system for human performance. Sleep is the foundation, and CPAP is at a core of protecting that foundation when it's broken. But harmony, how you manage the stress and regulate your nervous system, directly determines how restorative sleep and even a night where your CPAP compliance is perfect will work. Fuel is what you eat and at the time you stop eating, how many caffeine you take, your alcohol intake, and it's going to help you work better. Training, building a high discipline. And this is not just the training of the exercise and the muscles and the thing. It's the training of using the CPAP. It's the training of thought. It's the training of intention. And that's where the I comes in. It's clarity. And that's what matters. It's not when the machine is hard, it's when the machine is easy. Because the, whole working of the whole method together is what makes things impossible start feeling normal. And then once you do that, you could come and see how everything has changed in your life. If you or someone that you think that needs CPAP, just share this video with them. If you just started the therapy, just go ahead and watch this video, and then come on week 3 and watch the video again, and then come on week 4 and watch the video again. If you want to go deeper, there's a link for a free 20-minute sleep performance audit that I'm giving out. Subscribe to the channel, because everything we just covered today is only the beginning. We're going to go deep in what CPAP is. We're going to go deep in what sleep apnea, what energy, what performance, what stress management is. I've spent 15 years in the clinical side of this, and it's not going to get fixed in one single night. It didn't for me, and it won't for you. CPAP is a tool, and shift is how you use it. So subscribe, like, share this video with somebody that needs it. I'm here. I see you. I listen to you. I read all the comments, and if there's any questions, just reach out, leave your question. That question might open a conversation that maybe somebody else can benefit about your doubt. And like I always say, if you don't have a plan for yourself, you're going to fit into somebody else's plan. So make yourself a plan and how to manage your life. How can shift help you to sleep better, to manage your stress better, to be intentional, to have a better eating habit and fuel your body and train, and above all, to sleep well. See you in the next video.